The U.S. Offshore Pro Tour Series has come to Ocean City, Maryland for the 1998 season finale. With national championship points on the line, the competition is sure to be fierce. The Pro Tour Series had its beginning way up north in New Hampshire in Lake Winnipesaukee. Then it was on to Hampton, Virginia. Then to the Atlantic Ocean in Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey. Then to New York City and the New York City Harbor. Now we find ourselves at the end of the season in Ocean City, Maryland. The 1998 season was a banner year for the U.S. Offshore Racing Organization, with great races, the introduction of the popular factory classes, and the short course format enabling race fans and racers alike to really get into offshore racing. Today, the Extinguisher team puts their undefeated season up against the Bronx Phantom. And in the C class, David D'Ambrosa and Rolling Thunder 2 go out to make it 2 in a row in the highly competitive C class. From Ocean City, Maryland, it's the U.S. Offshore Ocean City Grand Prix. All the action is coming up, so stay tuned.
From Ocean City, Maryland, it's the 1998 U.S. Offshore Ocean City Offshore Grand Prix. Hi again, everybody. I'm Scott Desolé, along with Joe Gates, here with you for the 4th consecutive year that U.S. Offshore has been in Ocean City. And Joe, things just keep getting better here.
It certainly does. Phil Houck, Bob Rothermel, all the great staff here has put together a really spectacular event. Of course, the weather's cooperated. It's sunny, as it always is here in Ocean City. The water's going to be very fast, a lot of competition, and of course, the national championship on the line for the U.S. Offshore Pro Tour Series.
That's right, Joe. And also the addition of the hot car exhibit in the pits has been special. And in our first race today, in the A class, it looks like Extinguishers got it wrapped up. They've shown us some great action in that class, but the B class is up for grabs.
Certainly is a lot of competition all through that short course. And as you well know, we say wrapped up, but anything can happen when it's that short, that fast, and that tight. Who knows? We'll wait for the checkered flag.
And in our second race, in the unlimited class, we have the largest field of the year in U.S. Offshore in that class. But before the race, you were talking about the C class. Watch that. That could be the most competitive of the day.
I think we're going to see a lot of competition in not only the unlimited, but the C class as well. Well, those big boats are going to go out there, have that way with that relatively flat water. And believe me, you're going to see some lightning speeds out there. Should be a great race.
That's right, Joe. Let's get started with the 1998 U.S. Offshore Grand Prix. We'll pick up the action right after this timeout.
This portion of our telecast is brought to you by the Dough Roller and these other fine sponsors.
Today's telecast is being brought to you by Prolong Super Lubricants, the beautiful city of Ocean City, Maryland, Worcester County, Maryland, and the Hotel California. Scott Desolé, Joe Gates, and Hurley Step with you here from Ocean City as we see the boats coming out of the inlet, getting ready to go to the milling area. Let's go down to Joe. He's with a very special guest.
I'm with Phil Houck here in Ocean City just prior to race time. Phil, of course, you're our host as always. You've done another great job. Your staff has put together quite an event.
Joe, I'm always happy to have you guys here. And if you notice one thing, the sun is out this morning again. It's going to be a beautiful day. We got some great boats here. Great race day today, and I can't wait till it starts.
Of course, last year, Phil, you brought us great weather again right at the last moment before the race and about 100,000 people on the beach. I think you're going to do better than that this year.
We definitely are, Joe. This is our 4th consecutive year. Every year we've always had sunshine. This year, Joe, I'm looking for 200 to 250,000 people. We're just going to rock and roll this weekend.
I tell you what, you're talking about rocking and rolling. U.S. Offshore loves to come up here. We enjoy your hospitality always. This year you added another little twist, the car show. It's been a huge success.
It has. I think we had approximately 500 cars down the inlet. We have some 60 boats. And again, sunshine and U.S. Offshore, and we're ready.
Well, of course, as we always say, Bull on the Beach, Hotel California, Phil Houck, and Ocean City. You put Ocean City with U.S. Offshore, you got a winner. We'll have to wait and see who gets the checkered flag. Back to you.
Thanks, Joe. It's always a great pleasure to be here in Ocean City, Maryland, with Phil Houck in charge. It's always a great time here. As we get set to go racing, today we'll be on a 3.5-mile course for today's first race as we go on board Extinguisher and the owner, Gary Guido. These guys are undefeated, Joe. They're looking to make it 4 in a row.
They're putting it on the line today. As I was talking to Hurley right before the show, we talked about this 3.5-mile course. Of course, the smaller boats really enjoy that intense competition, Hurley. You've raced that format. You like it.
I think it's a great way to do it. The driver and the throtterman have to work a lot closer together in this type of course. They have to really coordinate in all their functions, keep track of the traffic around them, and really be intense.
Joe, you and the U.S. Offshore's officials have really brought this course into the beach with thousands of fans that line the beach here in Ocean City. They're going to get a great show as we go back on board Extinguisher, getting set for the start. These two guys working as one. Not a lot of chatter in the cockpit today, trying to get ready for the start of this race.
And you see Anthony Perry reach out, grab the throttle hand. Gary Guido said, "Oh, you mean all the way?" Yes, he does, because they're undefeated. They want to stay that way.
In today's first race, we'll have the Factory 1 boats, the Factory 2, the A class, the B class, and the stock class as they stretch out and try to get in line for today's start of today's Ocean City Offshore Grand Prix.
Should be a great race. And, you know, Hurley, we talked about a little while ago as they line up for the start. You can't jump. You can't go out in front of that green flag, and there it is.
Very important right here. They want to get in line, get the position that they want to go into that first turn, especially on this short course, because that first turn can make a difference.
We have a clean start. It's less than half a mile to that first pin, Joe. Here's Instigator along the beach. As we tilt up, there's Bronx Phantom. These boats are spread out all over this race course.
Well, I know what happened there. The boats weren't quite lined up, and of course Hurley's been in this position before. Until they're ready, they're not ready, they won't release them. They got a little close to that first turn. Everybody had to react. They ran over it early. Now they got to make up for it.
A real tough situation for the boats in the back. They've got to fight the wakes of the boats that are in front of them and try and catch up. Not an easy thing to do on a short course like this.
On board the A-class champions, the Extinguisher. They're caught back in traffic. They're going to have to go a little bit to keep their undefeated streak going early.
I tell you what, you see there how he's working that throttle? He's having to pull up and down that throttle because he's running over other boats' wake. Every time you do that, you're slowing down. He needs to hold that throttle down and get some clear water.
Now back up to one of our helicopter cameras, a great view of the city of Ocean City, Maryland, and the race going on out in front of the fans on the beach. A real pretty spectacle out here, a lot of power on the water.
At the bottom of your screen is the F2 class leader Hustler team, and in the B class, Instigator leading in points is right in the middle of the pack, and I can see the Damn Donzi team and Mountain Dew already in the battle at the top of your screen. As we pan to the right, oh Joe, we've had an accident, we've had a boat go over.
Yes, Scott, that is Richard Silvestri on board Sierra, points leader in the stock class. Looked like he barrel rolled it, pushed the envelope a little too far. Hurley, I know you've never done that. You don't ever push the envelope too far. But we see both driver and throttle man, they're okay.
Well, it's great to see that both the driver and the throttle man are out of the boat and doing good. They're going to have to do a little work on the boat, though. They probably just got a little too excited at the start of the race, pushed a little bit too hard, and over they went.
It's good to see the U.S. Offshore Rescue Team right on the spot, right on the rescue, and also the Instigator team, Joe, had to stop and lend a hand. They weren't needed, so they'll get right back in the race.
Of course, it could present a little problem for them. Now they've got to run in their class, leading in that class national points as they are, but they've got to run up through traffic now. Could be interesting.
And Joe, surprisingly, the Bronx Phantom is now out in the lead. They've had a tough year. Louis Durasimo and Robert Winowski, they haven't had a Bronx Phantom type of year, but they're hanging in there. Maybe they're going to make it one in a row here by beating Extinguisher.
Well, they'd love to do that. Of course, A-class boats, very competitive, but they still want to personally beat the Extinguisher because they're the ones that have kind of been dethroned by the Extinguisher team.
Bronx Phantom has had a lot of engine trouble this year. Looks like maybe they've put it together today, Joe. The team out of Bronx, New York is really going to have to put the hammer down to stay ahead of Extinguisher.
We'll talk about staying ahead. Right now, Hurley said they're ahead. We jump on board in cockpit on the Extinguisher team. They've got their work cut out for them. The Bronx Phantom running very well.
Yeah, the Extinguisher team is in a good position right now. If they stay on the inside lane, they can work on a Bronx Phantom, come up next to them, and they will dictate who goes in that turn first and how it's going to be taken.
Deck to deck, this A-class race shaping up as a good one all day long, Joe. Looks like Gary Guido's got his hands full today.
Gary Guido, Anthony Perry on the short side of the track. On the beach side, Bronx Phantom. Gary Guido trying to live up to his name. Mr. Inside takes some air. We'll have to wait and see who gets to that turn first.
F288, the Hustler team, slingshotting down the inside of the course. Mike Caravetta and Chip Fenn on board, doing a great job leading in the points race. And in the F1 class, it's the Avanti team leading Damn Donzi. A surprise there. Owner Mike D. Pasquale on board. What a great race we got shaping up in the F1 class.
Always great competition in both Factory 1 and Factory 2. We take a look at the Outlaw team. That's a high-tech boat coming out of the box trying to do battle on this rough water out here. We'll have to wait and see how he does. Imagine that, an Instigator, deck to deck. Instigator moving all the way up early. They've moved through traffic and now are fighting for the lead in that class as we jump on board the Extinguisher team.
Here the Extinguisher guys are trying to work around the turn. See how they're working their throttles and they're driving together. These guys are in tune with each other and they're really working these turns hard.
Over Anthony Perry's right shoulder, we see the Bronx Phantom as they take the lead. Mr. Inside has done it on the backside. He's taken the lead in the A-class.
And we'll be back with more exciting offshore racing from the Ocean City Offshore Grand Prix right after this. Time out. Welcome back to Ocean City, Maryland, and the Ocean City Offshore Grand Prix. Joe Gates, Scott Desolé, and Hurley Stepp alongside. We're bringing you the action here on a gorgeous afternoon blue skies and great water out there, Scott.
And here comes the extinguisher. They're in their position they want to be. Mr. Inside, Gary Guido's got them in first place in the A class.
Running very well along these swells. Hurley on the inside of this racetrack. Of course, we see Bronx Phantom taking a little air there, but it seems to be that the rougher water is on the outside.
Well, Gary Guido in the extinguisher boat has really got that boat dialed in just perfect. He's got trimmed where he wants to be. He's throttling across those waves. And really the same situation here with the Hustler team. These guys are looking good. They've got a nice level fly when they leave the water, and they're out front.
And here comes the second place boat, the Treadwell Motorsports boat. They've been trailing the Hustler team all year, Joe. They'd like to get first place here in Ocean City.
Switching out to one of our aerial cameras, the battle continues in the Factory 1 class. Kryptonite moving alongside Dam Donzie takes second position. Now moving up to battle for the lead, and looks like, yes, Hurley, he does have the lead on the inside.
Kryptonite is on the move. This is a brand new boat. These guys are just trying to get it figured out, and I think they've done it. They're also on the inside position, which is exactly where they want to be on this course, because they're going to dictate who goes around that turn and how fast.
The Avanti team now trying to make the inside move. Driver John Wittenbergen making a nice inside move, taking the inside line on Kryptonite, and then Dam Donzie lurking with John Woolley on board in the back. This looks like a big battle all day, Joe.
It certainly does, but I notice on the outside, that seems to be where the power is now. A new player comes into the foreground. That is Mountain Dew. Jim Arvis on board, brand new out of the box. Hurley, I did not think this boat had a chance, but it seems to be running up there with the leaders. Boat seems to be dialed in already.
I think they're getting used to the boat, and they're figuring it out, and they're going to be up there in the hunt before it's all over with.
Imagine that, continuing to lead in the B class, but Instigator National Points leaders right on their transom. Earlier, Joe Gates had a chance to catch up to a very special man from Ocean City.
With Mayor Jim Mathias of the beautiful city of Ocean City. Once again, Jim, it's great to be here. Believe me, your city has turned out, and the weather, once again, you did it.
Well, it's great. You guys are doing a fantastic job. 4th year in a row. Look at this. World-class boats, plenty of people. We're ready for a big time here in Ocean City. Everybody enjoy what you got.
Well, believe me, they love to come to Ocean City, the boats, the spectators. It's really a wonderful time. In fact, I know that the governor just called you a little while ago, Governor Glendening, and said unfortunately he couldn't be here today. He was with us last year. We always look forward to talking to him.
Well, I'll tell you, Governor Glendening and Lieutenant Governor Kathleen Kennedy Townsend, their hearts are here with us here in Ocean City. 8 million people visit Ocean City this year. That's fantastic. And I can tell you, a lot of it are events like this, the powerboat race, and it's fantastic. People are looking forward to it.
Well, believe me, as your good friend Phil Houck, of course, Bob Rothenmill from Bull on the Beach and Hotel California, they put on a great event. But you got to thank your city, too. Your city services, your police, your fire, your safety, the Coast Guard. Without them, we're in big trouble.
Well, we got a great team, but I can tell you, we really appreciate everything they do. We all pull together, you know, whether it's a beautiful summer day or we're looking at a hurricane coming up the coast or a great powerboat race. We got the team here in Ocean City. They're number one, and the folks that come and make it happen, they're number one.
Thanks, Joe. It's always a great pleasure to talk to the mayor of the beautiful city of Ocean City, Maryland. Now back to the F1 race. Dam Donzie now has taken over the lead in that class over the Avanti team, making a nice move on the inside of the course. And here comes Extinguisher, stretching out their lead in the A class over the Bronx Phantom. They're making a nice move on the inside, Joe. Mr. Inside, Gary Guido doing his job, but Bronx Phantom right on their transom.
Bronx Phantom doing a great job early running along this beach. I've noticed they seem to be closing ground on the inside of the course down here on the beach side. Outside, a little bit more problem. Maybe the rougher waters bothered them. We jump on board Extinguisher. Anthony Perry driving hard. And, of course, Gary Guido, intensity all the way. He's got that throttle in his hand. He wants the checkered flag.
These guys are really going at it. You can see Gary turning around to try and see where the Bronx Phantom is so he can gauge how fast he's got to run to that next turn.
Not much communication between these two guys, working as one, throttling and driving to a national championship title. Here comes the Hustler team. Chip Fenton, Mike Caravetta on board, running well, leading in the F2 class.
Treadwell Motorsports, all race long, all year long. F298, been running second fiddle to them. They've got to reach down and get more out of them. Right now, I'm sure Hurley, they're wondering what they're going to do to push that envelope and get that speed going. Here's a boat that doesn't have to ask that question. Dam Donzie running on its side, pushing hard, trying to stay out of harm's way and trying not to get caught. And it looks like by this boat, that Mountain Dew boat, starting to really move up on the field, Scott.
Jim Arvis and Jim Morris out of Mechanicsville, Virginia, making a move on Avanti Racing on the outside early. This boat really looks good in the water.
I tell you what, this is some great racing. Factory class, same engines. These guys are, this is fantastic. See two boats go at it like this, you couldn't get anything better than this.
Jim Arvis driving and Jim Morris throttling this brand new Progression 27, doing a good job, trying to find the shorter way around the course and trying to catch Dam Donzie. And here comes B1 Instigator, now taking over the lead in the B class, Joe.
Peter Meyer, Joe Skrull doing what they do best, running out in front right now. Imagine that. Pushing hard and trying to close that gap. They've been leading. Now they're running in second place.
And a new machine to the U.S. Offshore team is Team Outlaw. Nice looking boat. Ron Tenek and Robert Brivio on board. Good looking machine, Hurley. Good attitude in the water also.
It's nice to see that some of these smaller classes going to the canopy type boat. That means they're looking at safety.
And here's the leader in the stock class, Dennis Berry on board Barracuda.
Barracuda doing a good job, especially after watching that competitor Sierra flip and get in front of him like that. He's retained his lead very well. Let's go back outside on the outside of the course, Hurley. Right now, it's for all the marbles in the Factory 1 class. That is Mountain Dew. We'll be back to see what happens after this timeout from Ocean City, Maryland.
Back to racing action in Ocean City as we see Mountain Dew now on the outside in a dicing situation with Avanti Racing. Avanti taking the inside, catches a little air there, Hurley, but they made a nice move on the inside.
Avanti is really pushing it. They want to get that inside, hold that inside lane so they can gain a little bit on Mountain Dew before they come out of the turn and head down the straight.
Factory 1 always competitive. You gentlemen know that very well. Dan Donzi continues to lead, running down past turn 4. These two boats chasing and trying to fight over second place. Of course, both boats have one thing in mind. Let's get in front of Dan Donzi and grab that checkered flag.
Back at start-finish, here comes Extinguisher, leading in the A class, trying to keep their undefeated streak on the line here, and they're doing it over Bronx Phantom.
Extinguisher doing a good job fighting all the ways. We see some of the other boats coming through start-finish. That beach camera right on the action there. Hustler F288 continues to lead in the Factory 2 class. Treadwell Motorsports still trying to push that envelope, trying to catch them. I don't know, Herb. It looks like they may not have the power to do so today.
It just doesn't look like they've got it figured out today. Just one of those things, and you're just not on track.
And here comes Mountain Dew and Avanti Racing in a tight race coming by start-finish. These guys are deck to deck, battling all day long. Here they come into turn 1. They're going to be racing all the way to the checkered flag, Joe.
Dan Donzi not backing off. Avanti Racing and Mountain Dew continue to battle second place. Right now, it doesn't seem like either one of those boats has the power to get up and run with the leader.
This is a prime example of how the factory class really works. You've got sealed engines. The difference only is the boats and the teams, of course, in there. That's what makes a difference in the whole race. How they run their boats and how they set them up.
Now it's time for this week's U.S. Offshore's Tech Time. We're with Robert Brivio and Ronald Tenek Jr. Guys, the Outlaw machine, quite a machine. It has Euro styling, it's tandem rig. This thing is really state-of-the-art.
That's true. It's Mark Schnepp Alpha Yachts, activated yachts, built the first this year. It's brand new. It's a new spec. And we're going to see what it does today. It's the first real race for us. And hopefully handle the water well today.
Talking about high-tech and things that are really on the cutting edge, go through the boat a little bit. Tell us some of the advantages you found with this new technology.
Well, Joe, our main concern was the rough water. That's why, again, with Alpha Yacht's design, we made the beam real close. It's a 6'7" beam. With the tandem, we feel we'll be able to cut the waves a lot better than having a 7 to 8 foot beam.
As far as the cockpit sitting, that's a little bit different than we're used to seeing in this country, although I know the Euro design is very popular, obviously, in Europe.
Yeah, it certainly is. And the good thing that works out between Robert and myself is he's a little shorter than me, so I'll be able to see over his head quite a bit.
Good visibility all around, all sides.
Well, in other words, one of the reasons, of course, visibility, but like you said, the narrow beam cuts those waves. Hopefully it's going to work for you today.
Well, we'll see. I hope we get some rough water out there. A little flat now.
We'll have to wait and see. That's a boat that you need to watch because it is on the leading edge of high tech. U.S. Offshore's Tech Time.
Thank you, Joe, for that interesting look at one of U.S. Offshore's newest teams, Team Outlaw. Now back to the B class. Instigator linking their lead over Imagine That, doing a good job. Here comes Mountain Dew. Now they're ahead of Avanti Racing. They've got Dan Donzi in their sights. Looks like they're making a move on the outside of the course, Joe.
Tim Harvey's taking the long way around, trying to push ahead of Dan Donzi. Right now, Instigator running out in front of the B class. Imagine That. Now is Dave Redding on board, trying to figure out a way to get around that lead boat.
Bronx Phantom comes into view now. Louis DeRasimo, Robert Linowski on board, doing a good job. They seem like they've got the trim figured out, their ballast. They're running well, Turley. This is the best showing they've made all year.
Well, the boat is looking real good right now. I think they've also realized it's getting towards the end of the race, and they better get going or they won't have time to catch them.
This is a beautiful Will Smith designed Phantom, doing well. This is a great design for a race boat, Joe.
And talking about a race boat, Scotty, here's the leader in Factory 1, F166. Right on his hip, the boat that's leading the National Points Championship in Factory 1, that is Mountain Dew. Jim Arvis pushing hard, trying to close the gap and take over the lead in that class, taking a lot of water through that turn. We go back now in the 4th place area. That is F136 Thunder. That boat running in 4th place. In 3rd place is Avante Marine.
And Joe, something we haven't mentioned today, we've mentioned all season, these are boats you can buy right in your local showroom.
Good point, Scott. Of course, F1 just has one engine, a little smaller boat. F2, two engines, a little bigger boat. Big news from race control right now, Hurley. Imagine that has taken over the lead once again in the B class over Instigator. I can't believe I'm seeing this. Instigator always running hard. Right now seems to be a little off on power.
It would appear that way. They're a little bit heavier in the water. Or maybe they're just taking a break. We'll have to see what happens as the race goes on.
More of the factory class boats coming by, doing a good job. Evenly matched teams, evenly matched boats. It all comes down to driver and throttleman skill. And here's Team Outlaw trying to move up on the leaders in the A class, doing a good job. Hurley, look at this action in the turn.
Oh, this is great. You can see where Imagine That left the door to the inside open a little bit. Instigator took advantage of it. They're going to come up alongside them and probably take the lead right here.
You got to wonder if Edemeyer and Joe Scrow said, let's go outside, put them to sleep a little bit, take them on the inside right now, running down the outside of that course. It looks exactly like that's what's happened because Instigator B1 is pouring the coals to it. We'll be back with more exciting action from Ocean City right after this timeout.
Welcome back to the final round of the U.S. Offshore Pro Tour here from beautiful Ocean City, Maryland. As today's first race enters its final laps, we see that it's been a great day of action so far. And here's Extinguisher leading in the A class, the points leader, moving to their fourth consecutive victory.
Gary Guido, Anthony Perry have done a great job out there, Hurley, as you said at the top of the show. They've really got that boat trimmed, they know what they're doing, and they want to continue their winning ways as they've done all season long.
But couldn't agree more with you, Joe. They really have it dialed in. Also, the Hustler team looking real strong out there today.
Now back to the B class race. Things aren't decided here yet. Instigator having to take the long way around. Imagine that, taking the inside, trying to get by some back traffic. This race could go right to the wire, Joe.
Imagine that on the inside. Hurley's favorite position as always, but being a racer, Hurley, you like that inside track. Right now the problem is there's traffic in the middle of the course. Instigator on the outside really picking them up and putting them down. They are starting to light the weight right now.
Well, that lap traffic is actually getting in their way for the Imagine That team. Being on the inside for them right now is not the place to be, and Instigator is taking advantage of that.
Instigator continuing to lead after getting by that lap traffic. They're doing a good job, Joe, coming by start-finish, continuing to lead. Here's another leader, the Extinguisher team, leading in the A class. They look like they're going to go on and win their fourth consecutive race.
It certainly looks that way, even though they're taking a little bit of air, and Bronx Phantom still not giving up the ship. They're out there really, really trying hard, but I just don't believe they've got the power to catch that boat. Extinguisher really lighting it up out there.
Now for a preview of today's second race, let's go down to Joe Gates. He's with the team from Arasaki.
With Kurt Berger here in the pits just before race time. Kurt, Arasaki, a big factor this year. Mr. Hojo all the way from Japan. Looks like it's going to be their kind of water out there.
Yeah, it came in again to Ocean City, Maryland. It's an exciting race for us because it's ocean water. That's what we're looking forward to. And this race being up for the national championship between really three boats, Riveted and, of course, Mike Rayo, the MG23. It's going to be a real exciting race to see who takes it. Today will tell us all.
Well, of course, I know Mr. Hojo, always a very competitive racer. You've been working on this boat. Any tricks up your sleeve? I know you guys, you always like to be a late bloomer. You're probably out there doing something special.
Well, as you've seen each race, I mean, the boat gets better and better, and we constantly work on it, do a few little things, and we have this one ready for today's race. And Mr. Hojo does have a trick up his sleeve. Next year, I think you're going to see a pretty new, exciting boat come out from Japan.
We can't wait to see that. And by the way, Mr. Hojo, once again, welcome back to America. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Back to you.
Joe, thanks for that preview of today's second race. And now back to action in our first race. It's Dan Donzi and Mountain Dew on the final lap, duking it out here on the front stretch as they come into turn one.
Dan Donzi on the inside, Mountain Dew on the outside, swinging way outside. As a matter of fact, a little bit far. It looks like they set up a little bit far on the outside of that turn. Now it's Dan Donzi hugging the inside of the pin, takes a little quick turn. Looks like they just about spun it out. In fact, they did. Hurley, that was a mistake.
Exactly right. What happened there is Mountain Dew was pushing the Donzi boat. They knew they had to go on that turn really hot, and they went in just a little too hot, and they made a mistake, and now Mountain Dew's out front.
Looks like Jim Arbus and Jim Morris have taken advantage of this. Donzi now in second place. Mountain Dew going home to victory.
Dan Donzi makes a mistake. Mountain Dew takes the lead. Bronx Phantom on the right side of your screen. Maybe looking for that same mistake, Hurley. I don't think they got the power to catch Extinguisher.
Extinguisher has got it dialed in. They're doing a real good job of playing a real safe race.
It's going to be too little too late for the Bronx Phantom as Extinguisher takes the win, but not by much, Joe. Only by about 4 or 5 boat lengths. What a great race we had in A today.
Extinguisher, undefeated season, and the national champion A-class. There's another national champion, B1 Instigator. They take it all for this race and the national championship again.
And the Mountain Dew boat comes home with the win today at Ocean City and also the national championship, driven by Jim Arvis.
Those guys got to be proud right out of the box, Hurley. New boat. They were very, very pleased. That boat, Damn Donzie, without the mistake, could have been the other way.
Exactly. Damn Donzie would have definitely won that race if they hadn't have just messed up in the turn.
And here comes the Hustler boat, winning in the F2 class and also taking the national championship.
Barry Cuda picks up the checkered flag in today's race here at Ocean City in the stock class. The national championship goes to the boat who flipped, Sierra. Quite a day for them, quite a year as well.
We'll be back with more great action in the start of today's second race right after this timeout. Welcome back to the Ocean City Offshore Grand Prix from beautiful Ocean City, Maryland. We get set for today's second race. The course has been lengthened to 7 miles. We're going to see the Super Vs, the Unlimited, and the C-Class in today's race.
The Unlimiteds and the C-Class going to definitely enjoy the water. It's catamaran kind of water out there. The DVs, of course, they're not going to have any problem. There's enough swells out there to give them a good racing condition. If we watch some of the thousands who joined us out here on Ocean City's beach, it's really been a great day. Chamber of Commerce kind of weather, blue sky, blue waters. We see the boats to start joining up right now. Early, they're following the yellow flag, getting ready to get this race started.
Everyone's getting ready for the flag to drop. They're lining up, picking their lane, and how they want to go down the course. The Cats should have a real fun day out there. It's calmed down a little bit from the first race, so I think it's going to be exciting.
Here we see a great shot of the start. Firewater on the inside. Here comes up one of the Rolling Thunder boats, and Defender coming in close to the shore. This is going to be a great start, Joe.
The Catamaran's definitely going to have an advantage, I believe. I know what you're saying, Hurley. This water is definitely good condition for those Cats. They're going to pack that air and run on top. DPs, let's wait and see how they do.
Got the Cats. They'll pick up a little bit here. As soon as the flag drops, Cats will take off, leave the DP behind. They got a little more air under them, and they're going to the only thing they're going to have to watch is a little bit of swell to have out there so it doesn't send them over backwards.
And here we have a clean start, and it's R&R Racing jumping out to a quick lead. Riveted coming along. They got caught in the inside during the start, but now they're starting to move in. Here comes Defender moving out in a hurry.
As Early Steph pointed out at the beginning of the second race, the big Cat's going to have an advantage out there in this kind of water. Packing that air, running on top, the big DV dropping off. There's Arasaki, fresh off a win in Point Pleasant Beach. Boat hasn't raced much in the last couple of years. Really running out there impressive.
We see a great view of our start. Riveted now starting to move up on the inside as we come to turn 1. It's going to be a fight to the finish here. Great fight through turn 1.
The smaller C-Class boat of R&R Racing has jumped out front. They're a little bit lighter. They can get going a little bit faster. Riveted should be picking them up here once we come out of this turn. Also Arasaki.
From our start-finish camera, we can see all the way to the backside of the course. And here is R&R Racing in the lead, jumping out to a quick lead, faster than the open boats. They're doing a good job in C-Class.
C-Class leader R&R. Wish Ron Roman a lot better luck than last year's race here, because last year he dropped to the bottom and sunk it before the drive dropped early. Remember that, of course. This year he's running on top and looking pretty good.
Looking real good out there. He may just not let the open boats catch him. Although Riveted is coming up strong, it looks like they really got the boat dialed in today. They're finding a little bit of pace, and they're going to pick them up here in a little bit.
Riveted leading the Unlimited class. Driver James Sedge and throttleman Ken Silverman on board, taking a quick lead in Unlimited, but here comes Arasaki inside of him, and MG23 right there with him. R&R Racing now leading into C-Class, but here comes Arasaki, Joe.
As Hurley said, the big boat's getting that water under him, starting to run on top. R&R continues to lead in the C-Class. Arasaki moving well in these big swells, and the leader in the Unlimited class right now, MG23, blasted right by him. That boat very fast, moving very well in this flat water.
Well, the water is just rough enough for the bigger 46-foot skater to be able to take the lead in this type of water. So they're out there in front. I think they're going to set the pace.
MG23, owner and throttleman Mike Guerreri, and the driver is Larry D. Parson, taking the quick lead in the Unlimited class.
Well, it really looks good. Came out of the box this year on the U.S. Offshore Pro Tour. Really is starting to pick them up and putting them down. One of the old veterans, though, hard boat to beat. Arasaki, number 10, all the way from Japan. Riveted, picking them up also and passing Arasaki right now along the beach. Boat looks very good in the water, as does Arasaki.
Arasaki with Kurt Berger and Sajiro Hojo on board, Joe. In your interview with them, they said they're going to have a new boat next year. We really look forward to that.
Boat's been around a long time. Mr. Hojo said, of course, it's time for a change. Hate to leave the Arasaki 10 behind, but it's time for a new boat. Knowing those people, it'll be high-tech all the way.
And back to start-finish, here comes MG23, leading in the Unlimited class. Early, this boat really looks trimmed out well right now.
They are running excellent right now. The throttle man has the drives and the tabs set right where he wants to be, and he is just feathering the throttle on and off a little bit to keep the nose down as he goes through the water.
MG23 packing some nice air, but here comes Rivet right behind, trying to stay with him. This boat's going to be there all day, Joe.
MG23, a new skater, riveted an older style coupe. The Arasaki machine been around a lot of time. All three boats running well out of the water today, Hurley. And there goes R&R Racing continuing to lead in the C class.
Well, I think that's part of also the shorter course. It allows the older boats, a little bit maybe heavier boats, to close the gap on the lighter, more high-tech boats.
And here's our first view of the Rolling Thunder machine. They're in second place in the C class, trying to duplicate their win in Point Pleasant Beach.
Rolling Thunder really starting to roll here. Looks like it's closing some ground on R&R Racing. And there's one of its old nemesis, Extractor. 1983 hull design, boat still very competitive out of this kind of water.
Firewater comes by, throttled and driven by Bob Oliver, and the navigator is Frank Scholl. And here we go back to see our leader in the C class, R&R Racing.
What a difference a year makes. Last year at this time, Ocean City, Maryland, R&R Racing sinks to the bottom. This year they got the shiny side down. We'll have to wait and see what happens. We'll be back with more action from Ocean City, Maryland right after this timeout.
Back with you from Ocean City, Maryland. Scott Desolé, Joe Gates, and Hurley Stepp with you today as we see MG23 leading in the Unlimited class. A beautiful looking 46-foot skater. These guys have really got this thing flying.
High tech, high energy, high power. Hurley, that's really state-of-the-art technology out there. You've run a lot of skaters. This boat looks like a good one.
It's a very good boat. The Skater Factory, they really work on getting the boats prepared perfectly. They vacuum bag all the boats, latest and exact materials that can be used, and that's what makes these boats run out front. Example here's a riveted aluminum boat, a little bit older, a little bit heavier, but they're hanging in there and they're doing a pretty good job.
Well, that's a very good point, Hurley. And of course, as you know, technology marches on. Here's one that's been around quite a while, even older than the coupe that's running in front of it right now. All three boats surprisingly competitive, all three running very close.
And in fourth place in the Unlimited class is Defender, the team out of Maine. Dan Lilly and Dan Lilly Sr. doing a good job staying with the other boats in this class.
Defender, a 36-foot skater, a little smaller, a little lighter, moving up in the pack in the Unlimited class right now. From race control, we've got a new leader in the C class, Rolling Thunder. That's Bill Gazelle and David D'Ambrosa on board. Arnold D'Ambrosa, he is sitting on the beach right now, an old veteran racer himself, saying, come on, son, come on, guys, stay in front of Extractor. That boat really starting to move up in the class. This boat always competitive, always very fast.
And here's the big deep V holding his own. It's Firewater, the team out of King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, doing a good job. This is not their water today, not rough enough, but they're hanging in there.
Yeah, they're actually doing a pretty good job. As Hurley said, they've got it trimmed right. Here's a boat that's starting to move up in the C class, Styling. It's a new boat on the U.S. Offshore Pro Tour. Hurley, really an exotic-looking machine.
Brand new boat on the circuit. These guys are taking their time trying to get a feel for the boat before they push the throttles down all the way.
And here comes Rolling Thunder, another one of the Arnold D'Ambrosio boats, Joe. Old technology, but that may prove well in this short course format, Joe.
Rolling Thunder C3, that's Arnold D'Ambrosio's second entry in this race. Both boats running in good position right now, one in first place. Here's a boat, another bad move, trying to keep up the pace, but as you said a little bit earlier, Hurley, this is not deep V water. They're maintaining a pretty good position, but it's real tough for them to run up with boats like this. This is Rolling Thunder, that boat in the lead in the C class, number C1.
Old Technology rolls on in first place in the C class. Throttleman William Gazelle and driver David D'Ambrosia. A recent Sports Illustrated article featured his win in Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey.
And now it's time for this week's U.S. Offshore's Driver's Corner with David D'Ambrosia. David, a lot of great technology on the water out here today, but an interesting thing, you've got two entries, Rolling Thunder 1 and 2, we like to call them. They're old boats, they're old technology, but they're winning and winning big time.
Yeah, when the boats are older, we keep the fiberglass, the hull's in good shape. The engines are always, we're always working on the engines, and you always got to keep the engines updated, but the boats are holding up well, especially the one I raced in the Jaguar here. We checked it all out after the race. It was after the last race in Point Pleasant where we won. Everything's smooth, beautiful, everything's in great shape, no cracks, no anything. And we had a pretty rough race the last one, so everything's holding up well. We took it for a test run yesterday and out in the ocean there, and there was some holes out there we found, but all in all, everything went smooth.
Of course, I think of this kind of racing, offshore racing, sort of related to NASCAR. You began to hear people talking about you related to Jeff Gordon. You're a young guy, and it's true enough, you're a very, very competitive racer, but one thing that you seem to have a lot of similarity to him is you race only one way, that's to win.
That's it. Well, we go out and try our best to win every race, and we put everything forward, and there's always a strategy to racing. I mean, Jeff Gordon's in his a whole different kind of racing, you know. But it's nice to be considered with someone along them lines anyway. But all in all, we go out. We're very competitive, and I go out there to win. I mean, that's the bottom line. We're out here to win these races. And they got a lot of competition, and they're all out there trying to do the same thing, and that's what makes it great. It makes it exciting.
Of course, we always talk about tradition in this sport. Your father, of course, Arnold D'Ambrosio, you come from a racing background. It's a heritage.
Yeah, you know, we're around boats. So my whole life I've been around boats and working on boats, and we have 2 marinas, and it's all about boats. So when it comes to racing, my hometown has had the Point Pleasant race for 29 years. I've been born and raised on boat racing, and when it was my opportunity to step in and try, I took full advantage of it.
Well, you're certainly going to take advantage today because it's going to be an exciting day of racing. And that's this week's Driver's Corner with David D'Ambrosio.
Thanks, Joe, for that interesting look at the Rolling Thunder 2 team. Here comes Defender, trying to move up on the leaders in the unlimited class. A beautiful-looking skater, Hurley. What do you think about this attitude? How's this boat look in the water?
The attitude of this boat's looking real good. They've got it trimmed out nicely. They just have to make up a difference of 10 feet in the length, and that's going to be tough to do in this type of water.
Well, of course, as always, Hurley, this kind of water, this kind of condition, skaters like it, but the bigger boats seem to be really rocking and rolling out there. As we take a look at MG23 coming by the start-finish camera again, that boat really picking them up and putting them down. A lot of high speed. The thousands here along the beach are really enjoying it. What a great day in the state of Maryland.
Now Arasaki in second place. Riveted has dropped out. They're moving along this 42-foot boat. A rather different design than the Skater, but doing well in this flat water.
Arasaki, number 10, been around a long time. Boat's been very competitive. Of course, as Mr. Hojo stated earlier, he's going to build a new boat for the 99 season. As we take a look at Defender, this is a new boat, a 36-foot skater. That boat now moving up to 3rd position as Riveted has dropped out, trying to close the gap on the leaders first and second place. Earlier in this race event, we had a lot of people join us on the beach for an amateur race, and it was very exciting. A lot of speed, a lot of power. Some of these boats, I look forward to seeing these on the Pro Tour, maybe 99, maybe even 2000. This is called the Maryland Cup, and these boats had a ball out there. The fans really loved it as these guys took on a short course position, went out there and really had a ball. Saw some old memories go by here, Hurley. Of course, Ballistic been around a while, but the boat back in the back, that was Agitator. That used to be run by Alan Duntman. That boat very, very fast. We see it in our shot right now. That product of maybe the 80s and early 90s was really a fast boat. In fact, you used to run that boat.
That's right. That boat originally was Dirty Laundry, and we sold it to the Agitator team, and they did fantastic with it, and it's running good today also.
It's amazing how technology does march on, but in some cases, it just never stops.
Here's the Extractor team trying to move up on the leader in the C-Class Rolling Thunder 2. We'll be back with more great action from Ocean City, Maryland right after this timeout on Speedvision.
Welcome back to Ocean City, Maryland in the final round of the U.S. Offshore Pro Tour Series for 1998. Joe Gates, Scott Desolé, Hurley Stepp alongside. Hurley, a good-looking boat we're looking at right now, number C-17, right out of the box, styling, doing a good job, really high-tech.
Very good-looking boat. Actually, the cockpit style on this boat is from the European versions. They use this with the driver and carman side-by-side in the same cockpit. It allows them to communicate a lot better, and they can also help each other out if there is any trouble in the cockpit.
Here comes MG23 leading in the unlimited class, doing a good job, running well on this flat water. Arasaki trying to hang in there. Kurt Berger and Sajero Hojo coming by, waving to the crowd, having a great run today.
Well, that boat should be proud. Of course, next year we'll see a new Arasaki machine out there. But Hurley, old technology, yes, but doing a good job running in the pack out here in the unlimited class.
Doing real good. They're holding their own. They're not quite got enough for the MG23, but they are definitely in the hunt.
Here comes Defender, another skater, a little bit shorter, but doing good, trying to hang in there in the unlimited class. And here comes our leader in the C-Class, Rolling Thunder 2, David D'Ambrosio at the helm.
Arnold D'Ambrosio got to be proud of his son out there right now, running out in front of Extractor. Of course, Extractor looks like it may be closing ground, but Arnold D'Ambrosio, a 30-year racing veteran, he himself a world and national champion. Evidently, the son, David D'Ambrosio, has learned a lot from his father.
Extractor leading in the points race, trying to hang in there. Here comes R&R Racing. They obviously is having a little bit of engine trouble, not up to power, but a great start for these guys. They were really out front for a while.
Now let's take a break from offshore racing and show you another feature that took place this week at the U.S. Offshore Grand Prix here in Ocean City, Maryland. Because at U.S. Offshore, it's not just boat racing, it's fan interaction. A lot of special events at every U.S. Offshore race. This weekend, no difference. A lot of new cars, a lot of old classic cars, a lot of muscle cars from an era gone by. Thousands of fans joined us here in the pits. They really enjoyed seeing all the cars and walking down memory lane because this weekend it was hot cars and fast boats.
Speaking of fast boats, here comes Defender on the inside, passing Rolling Thunder, trying to move up on the leaders in the Unlimited class. It's MG23 coming by our start-finish camera, leading Unlimited, doing a good job.
MG23 looking like it's lightening the load, burning off some fuel. Hurley, that boat getting a little airy out there, maybe not looking over their shoulder. Defender really putting on a show, starting to close the gap as we look at styling in the C class. Boats right out of the box, not a factor in today's race, but it's going to be, I think, next year you're going to see this boat really be a top runner.
Very good looking boat. I think once they get some time in the boat and get it figured out, they'll be strong in the circuit.
Here comes Arasaki in second place in it, Unlimited, holding off Defender, trying to stay in the lead. The crew waving to the crowd, enjoying their ride out here from Ocean City.
Arasaki doing a surprisingly good job, running very well. Defender waiting a little bit late in the race to make a move, but do they seem like they're going to be able to do anything? Hurley, I don't know. They are getting light. That boat 36-footer might be a factor in the closing laps of this event.
The Defender boat has definitely picked up the pace here. I think the calmer water is playing to their favor, and they may just close the gap on MG23.
Here comes Rolling Thunder 2, leading in the C class, trying to make it 2 in a row after winning in Point Pleasant Beach.
Bill Gazelle on the throttles, doing a good job pushing them down out there. David D'Ambrosio driving a good race. We'll have to wait and see if he can outrun his nemesis, Extractor, number C25.
Now let's go down to Joe Gates. He's with the team from Extinguisher with a comment on today's first race.
And the Extinguishers continues its winning ways. Another national championship and a High Point championship. Gary Guido, Anthony Perry, you got to be pleased. That old technology just keeps on keeping on.
Well, a lot has to do besides the old technology, the talent in the boat. And Anthony did a hell of a job today. He was impeccable driving this boat. We hardly even spoke. We didn't need to communicate. We were so in sync. And I do owe a lot to Marine Research and Development for building this motor and maintaining the boat, and John Cohn from Superboat for also maintaining the boat itself. They did a great job for us this season.
Well, you've got a lot of people to thank. Of course, Anthony, I know you appreciate your partner's efforts here. Of course, Gary just gets better and better. A lot of traffic out there, a lot of good moves.
Yes, there was a lot of traffic out there, but like Gary commented on me, I'm commenting on his behalf, saying he did a great job, kept that boat trimmed in, level. He watched, every move he made was perfect. He didn't miss any beats out there. And we just, like he said, we just keep on getting better and better. We discussed it over lunch. I think we're going to go take the Worlds next.
From our helicopter camera, we see the Rolling Thunder fleet, owned by Arnold D'Ambrosio, a 30-year race veteran. Let's go to him for a comment.
I won 3 world championships in the original Rolling Thunder, which is a 33-foot Baja. And now we're running, in the last couple of years, the 35-foot Jaguar, which is Rolling Thunder 2. And we won, we haven't raced it too much because I've been busy with my own businesses, but we won 2 consecutive years now in Point Pleasant. And we're hoping to win here, and then we'll probably go to we will go to Key West with the Rolling Thunder 2 and race for the World Championship this year.
Arnold D'Ambrosio and the Rolling Thunder race team becoming a legend in offshore racing as we take a look at MG23. She's just about to win. Yes, in fact, that's going to be an official victory for the Unlimited class. MG23 takes the checkered flag. Great day of racing with that boat. The skater performed well. Really starting to prove that boat can really go out there and win. Defender finishing in second place in the Unlimited class. Defender doing a good job. The little skater out there, 36 foot, flattened the water out, ran well, and proved she can go out there and fight with the best of them. Rolling Thunder, number C2, arms in the air. Yes, it's one more victory this year. Rolling Thunder taking the checkered flag in the C class over Extractor. She manages to fight off a lot of competition out there. Perfect day for Rolling Thunder. So as the winners of the second race here in Ocean City, Maryland today head for victory lane. We'll be back to wrap things up right after this timeout from Ocean City, Maryland and the U.S. Offshore Pro Tour Series.
Today's telecast has been brought to you by Prolong Super Lubricants, the beautiful city of Ocean City, Maryland, Worcester County, Maryland, and by the Hotel California. Joe Gates is down with one of our winners.
With another winning team, Rolling Thunder, they just keep rolling on. You know, David, it's getting to be a habit, and believe me, you and your buddy Gazelle over there really put the pedal to the metal today.
Yeah, it was a great day out there. It was a little bumpy at first, but all in all, a great day. And winning, you can never get used to winning. It's always a great feeling when you get that checkered flag.
Well, you may not get used to it, but I tell you what, Arnold, of course, I was watching you on the beach. You were
Swimming that boat out.
Billy.
He had that boat running perfect today.
Billy talked about running perfectly. We watched you go through those turns. You had Extractor really flying at you, trying hard. Looked like you just burned them out. They just had to back off finally, and they broke.
Yeah, they were good for about 5 or 6 laps, and then we saw them break, I think, on the 6th or 7th lap. Open cockpit boats are really hard to run against closed cockpit, so I got to hand my hat out. Those guys really were running hard.
Congratulations to MG23, winner in the Unlimited class. Now let's go down to Joe Gates. He's with the winners in the B class, Instigator.
With the team from Instigator, Peter Myers, Joe Scrow once again in the winner's circle, guys, and not only do you win the Ocean City Grand Prix, it's another national championship for you.
Yeah, Joe, it's another year, another good year for us. It was a good race today. We had to stop to help Sierra when they flipped, put us out of the from in front for a couple of minutes, but we made up the difference.
I watched you do it. The cameras watched you do it. Joe Scrow, quite a piece of driving through a lot of traffic. It was exciting. I know you didn't prefer it that way, but it was a real crowd pleaser.
Yeah, you just got to take what you dealt, Joe. You know how it works. It pack after we stopped to get going, but we managed to work our way through it.
Congratulations to all the winners here from Ocean City, Maryland.
Joe Gates and Scott Desolé back with you here from Ocean City, Maryland. And Joe, another great year of racing from Ocean City. And in today's first race, we had a couple undefeated teams. Extinguisher took the checkered flag along with Team Hustler.
They certainly did. Of course, the Team Hustler people go undefeated, as does Extinguisher in the A class. They were great racing all the way around the entire circuit this year, and especially in Ocean City. Phil Houck and all of his staff have got to be very pleased. So is U.S. Offshore. We love coming here.
And in today's second race, what you thought would shape up as a tough competitive race in the C class sure did.
It was great racing. Of course, Arnold D'Ambrosio and I talked about at the top of the show. Rolling Thunder, a real factor out there. Extractor pushed hard. Couldn't measure up today. That's racing. David D'Ambrosio comes away with a checkered flag. It was a great piece of driving and throttling on their part.
And this has been our 4th consecutive year here in Ocean City. And Joe, the hospitality sure has been great as always.
Doesn't get any better than this. Bull on the Beach, Hotel California, the city of Ocean City. Really roll out the red carpet for U.S. Offshore racers and participants. We enjoy it.
For Joe Gates, I'm Scott Desolé saying so long from Ocean City, Maryland.